And that's very important to train these models with the right data set and with the right domain data that you as a customer own. And we always help our customers to not just jump into the AI because it's a hype or it is something that everybody is talking about, but rather how it's going to associate and return its investment on your specific business.
That was the Managing Director at TEKsystems Global Services, and they have a reputation for accelerating business transformation by solving complex technology, not to mention business and talent challenges across the globe too. In fact, they partner with 80% of the Fortune 500 to help create solutions to enable them to capitalise on change. And change is such a huge topic right now. So today, I want to talk about data analytics and explore how data analytics is evolving from being merely reactive to becoming increasingly prescriptive, thanks to the advancements in artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I want to take a look under the hood into the architecture of a sound data strategy and how it can be the foundation, not just for innovation, but also monetizing your data and so much more. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to North Carolina in the US, where today's guest is waiting to share his story. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, thanks, Neil. My name is Srini Swaminathan, based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I work here at TEKsystems as a managing director for AWS Platform Services and Snowflake practices. So primarily my responsibility is customer delivery, project delivery, and making sure the customers see value through our engagement model. I'm here with the company for 15 years. So I have seen the very first implementation of a business intelligence and data analytics project, and extremely excited to continue to upscale our abilities to provide the modern solutions.
Well, it's a huge pleasure to have you on the podcast. We had your CTO on last week. I think his name was Ram. Last year. Is he still there?
He's still there. And me and Ram go back 22 years right from my first job. So that's the beauty of working together with people who you feel comfortable with and who let you explore and innovate. So he's still there very much.
Excellent. Well, I feel there's a story we need to find out a little bit more about that. So can you tell me about your origin story, how you got started in data analytics, and indeed how that would lead to your current role at TEKsystems and what you do there now?
Yeah, absolutely. Since childhood, I was fascinated with numbers. I was pretty good at math. And when I finished up my computer science engineering, I was always looking to see how to put the skills to use. And that's where I started my first job with Oracle Corporation. Back in those days, again, Oracle was a pretty big player in terms of specifically data and analytics. So my very first stint started off with working on transactional intelligence, essentially providing data and analytics and reporting and KPIs and metrics to the transactional systems. And right from that day, I knew that the area in which I was operating in really belongs to making decisions. And whenever you are giving your end users an ability to make decisions, it excites me with respect to the capabilities and the infinite potential. So right from my very first job, I was blessed to have been part of organizations that lets you innovate and dealing with the whole analytics and metrics. And with all the advances it has made over these 20 years, it just makes me feel humbled with all the support I've received all through these years.
Well, your passion for this really shines through in our conversation today. And you must have seen so much and so much change over the years. So I've got to ask, how have you seen data strategies change and evolve? And how do you also continue to see it evolving in the future?
I think that's a great question. And actually that signifies a traditional human mentality to scale the challenges and essentially elevate the benchmarks, which is one of our core values we imbibe within TEKsystems. So when I started the job, I'm sure you recollect that it would be great if we get the monthly reports on time, right? So all the focus was on having data just so that the book closing efforts that happens once a month goes through smoothly, and you don't scramble for numbers. And slowly it elevated with respect to having daily runs so that you can actually see what happened today, tomorrow, essentially, which all still fell into the entire reactive analytics. So for me, when I started seeing the advancement of data, and particularly the millions of rows that we are now able to process in sub-seconds, the whole shift from reactive to prescriptive is essentially the big difference between these several years that I've seen in the data space. And now with the advent of AI, not only we are talking about predicting and prescribing, now with the whole Gen AI and the advancement of AI ML models, you're also elevating the user experience so that you don't let the user's potential be wasted on routine activities, but rather utilized on building IP and innovation. So from my the whole journey path, I would have to summarize that the shift from reactive to prescriptive to explorative is a huge advancement I've seen in this space.
And something else I think we've seen change over the years is many businesses, data was locked away in silos, and certain departments within those businesses were fiercely protecting their data and not wanting anybody else to see. But we seem to have gone from there to innovation. So again, I'm curious, how does a proper data strategy create opportunities for innovation? Because I think this is something that everybody's waking up to now.
Absolutely. I think it became so evident that not only within departments, actually your data is now your asset, right? So there is no point of putting guardrails and boundaries on who should access, how should it be accessed, but rather explore opportunities to see how much value does your data actually contain that you can even monetize out of it. And as far as the data strategy is concerned, Neil, it's very, in a simple example, I could explain that the view that you get from a second floor to a fourth floor to a 50th floor widely varies, right? So the higher you go, the broader perspective you can get with respect to the landscape in front of you, and you can make wiser decisions as an organization. So I equate data strategy to be at that 50th floor, looking at the overall ecosystem, understand the high-level roadmaps as well as the challenges that you would be facing if you are pursuing a particular roadmap, and be prepared to enter that journey in a much more cognizant and measured way rather than just hitting and finding out umpteen number of challenges along the way. So from that perspective, data strategy has created several opportunities to be smart, innovate, and at the same time, the end goal for all of us is to provide our customers with exemplary services. So the good data strategy means your customers are going to love your innovation and your products.
And we can't talk about data in 2023, of course, without discussing generative AI. It's something that so many businesses were blindsided by earlier in the year. That is quickly changing. So what are the important steps that companies can't skip when implementing this new technology? And is there anything you can recommend about how they bring Gen AI into their business in a safe and responsible way?
Absolutely. I think maybe a year back, we may not have touched this topic, right? So you can see how data and its capabilities have evolved and continues to evolve. So when you look at Gen AI broadly at TEKsystems, we believe that we should have a strong data strategy to start with, right? Make sure you have a good journey map on how you are going to monetize your data and convert your data into an asset. And we see Gen AI as an enabler, not the destination. Because the important aspect of the whole Gen AI is also that it has the capabilities to digest the whole internet and then give you specific information that you're looking for. But then you need to be able to apply that information to your specific domain, which you are doing business in. And that's where domain expertise continues to play a big role. And with the right partners, a Gen AI project can be initiated with the right guardrails, to that matter, we even are internally working on how we can set up the Gen AI with an ethical AI boundaries, just so that your data, which is your superior secret sauce, should not just be fed into the Gen AI algorithms en masse without setting up appropriate guardrails. So again, data as an asset philosophy, making sure the Gen AI is not replacing a particular job description, but rather augmenting that job description continues to be our motto when we are pitching it for our customers.
And just to build on everything you just said there, how can companies better create a proper data foundation? And is it something CIOs and IT departments can do on their own, or does it require more input from other stakeholders?
That's a great question, Neil. I think to start with, the domain subject matter experts, right? The business people in your organization knows your data the best. We have seen umpteen number of times when these data initiatives are triggered as an IT project, as a technical advancement project, or even a technology, let's say, on-prem to cloud project. They don't see huge success unless your business is ready to consume these new technologies and the new advancements to do their day-to-day decision making. And that's where it's very important that an organization uses the right set of partners who can bring in not just technology advancements, but also business-related domains and subject matter expertise, so that a KPI that is critical in a financial services space may not be as critical, let's say, in a manufacturing space. So having a good domain knowledge expertise, having the right technology players, bringing in the right cloud service partners, all of this play a huge role when we want to really create that proper data foundation. And again, it very much boils down to what end user experience you are thriving and striving for, which determines a success of a project.
And although AI is getting all the headlines this year, it is, of course, data that holds all the power, and the quality of that data to ensure that you don't end up with the dreaded garbage in, garbage out, which we've all seen over the years. So for anyone outside of the tech industry, though, can you just expand on why data is integral to any AI strategy and how organizations can better prepare their data to implement AI? Because, again, huge talking point right now.
Absolutely, Neil. I think, again, the emphasis when we talk about AI, from our opinion, continues to be that AI is an excellent technology to replace certain routine activities that will free up your human potentials, abilities for innovation and IP creation. So we see AI as an enabler to your organization's different roles. So some of those routine activities can be replaced. Having said that, in order for the AI to be reliable and ethically governed, you need to have that right data strategy. And this continues to be our emphasis when we are pitching in for our customers through different point of views as well as proof of value projects. Creating that right data strategy, bringing the right data elements, not duplicating the data in umpteen number of places just for the sake of creating an AI demonstration is extremely important. We need to bring the right data at the right time, at the right frequency, and train these models so that it understands the nuances of your business. Because again, as you just rightly said, AI can only give you the data that it has been trained on. So you need to be very careful in training the AI model with your specific domain matter expertise and associate a contextual level, right? So that the AI is able to understand that this is the decision users are preferring over another decision when a same situation arises second time. And that's very important to train these models with the right data set and with the right domain data that you as a customer own. And we always help our customers to not just jump into the AI because it's a hype or it is something that everybody is talking about, but rather how it's going to associate and return its investment on your specific business.
And that is such an important point because everybody's talking about AI and so many other emerging technologies and the importance of data and getting that right. But equally, we are at a time of economic uncertainty and every new tech project is going to be judged by ROI and what business value is it actually going to deliver? What's it going to offer? That's so much more important than the shiny technology and those big headlines that we see. So with all that in mind, what can a successful data strategy do for a company? And also including AI, of course. Is there anything you can share that will bring that to life just to tick that ROI and business value box?
With respect to AI, offloading your routine activities should be a no-brainer. At least in our viewpoint, if there are automations that could be enabling and freeing up your team's time, you should certainly pursue them. But at the same time, we also need to make sure that why we are approaching these AI projects, right? It is primarily to change the status quo. We don't want to remain performing the same activities using the same old methodologies and falling behind in the competitive landscape in your business. And that's the reason we see AI as a very valuable tool to leapfrog your business competitors where it is applicable. But at the same time, it's very important that you have that right data strategy and you can offload some of these activities to AI to take care of it. And more importantly, we have started envisioning and messaging AI not as an artificial intelligence, but more as an augmented intelligence. Make sure your end user roles benefit out of these projects where they are able to do their job much better. But at the end of the day, all of this will only be reflective if your customer experiences the same elevated performance that you aspire for as a business. And for that, we need to make sure as an ecosystem, AI projects share data with each other. Particularly, you have a very reliable weather data that you hold as an organization. You can monetize the data as an asset because that information is extremely critical for several industries altogether. So you look at what your unique selling proposition is, and if your data holds that secret sauce that you can monetize, it needs to be brought out as a data as a service and be shared with corresponding industries that would love to have that data set. Again, with good guardrails so that you never let out that secret sauce that you hold. So this is where it gets very exciting as days go ahead, how we are able to monetize data, at the same time, keep that unique selling proposition of yours as a business intact.
And of course, it is incredibly easy to get distracted by this shiny new technology and all the great things it can offer. And well, I think it's also important to just hold back a little and understand the limits of AI and data. So is that something that you can expand on? And also how you see companies will continue to use these technologies over the next 5 years. And as I say that, I've got to mention here, I did speak with Ram in June 2022 there, just over a year ago. None of us expected Gen AI would receive mainstream adoption so quickly. So I think it's almost impossible to talk about where we will be in 5 years. But where do you see it heading?
I think it's exciting space. That's what I would say, right? Because in the last 22 years that I've been in this data space, I've seen waves, but I have not seen a wave so demonstrative like what we see today. And that makes us very excited that we can actually solve customer problems in a very meaningful and cost-efficient manner. Having said that, I would compare the limitations of AI similar to what my two boys can do. One of them paints a picture so beautiful using coloring pencils that I could never attempt. And my other one, my little one, he actually thinks 50 moves before he makes that first move in the chess coin. So the human brain works so different. Both of my boys demonstrate that how much ever we train these AI with models and trainings and statistical numbers, it all boils down to how the end user is using that information to make decisions. So the limits of AI, I would not say is more technological, because with the processors and the memory and all the models that are getting better and better day to day, it's about how you are harnessing that power of AI, applying it to your specific data elements, and then projecting it in a user-friendly interface where people can make decisions. And that's where I would say a lot of work will go in the next 5 years on harnessing the power of AI into a compelling user experience for making simple to complex decisions.
Love that. And of course, we started the podcast today talking about your origin story and what would put you on this path that you're on. And of course, now as we reach the end, I want to ask you to look back at your career, because none of us are able to achieve any amount of success without a little help along the way. So is there a particular person that you're grateful towards? Maybe they saw something in you, maybe they invested a bit of time in you to help you get where you are. Because I'd love to give them a bit of a shout out today.
Neil, thanks for the opportunity. Because as I look back my career, there have been umpteen number of people who have really helped me shape. I'm almost like that river that flows through the strain, and there are several supporting structures along the way that guides you to that right path. But since you have triggered that memory, I have to go back almost 20 years back when my director at Oracle, Vikram Thakru, he's the one who kind of imbibed a culture in me saying, Srini, no risks, no rewards. And he wanted me to have that thought process of making sure you don't put yourself under a lower benchmark, but rather be fearless in exploring areas that you have not ventured into. And but more importantly, on the softer side, he also mentioned that you as a leader should own the risks and you as a leader should share the rewards. And I think that has stuck pretty much throughout my career. For that matter, TEKsystems, you will see if you talk to multiple people living and breathing here for 15, 20, 25 years, that's because we take care of each other. We are here at the end of the day, people, right? We care about each other. We want to make sure we celebrate successes. And if we run through a few pain points, we learn from them. So again, you have taken me a good memory lane back there. And I would love to pass on similar kind of people-friendly, at the same time, be prepared to take risks attitude to my team members. But I appreciate that.
Oh, that's a beautiful moment to end the podcast on today. And I just love that because it's easy to get lost talking about emerging technologies such as AI and machine learning and the great value it can bring. And it is people at the heart of everything. And I absolutely love that. And for anyone listening that would like to find out more information about TEKsystems, maybe explore some of the topics we discussed today in a little bit more detail, where would you like to point everyone listening?
Neil, again, TEKsystems.com is one placeholder where we actively are sharing what we are doing. For that matter, right after this podcast, October 10, 24 and November 10, we are actually doing a 3-part webinar with AWS on how to lay the right groundwork for your generative AI project. So it's a 3-part webinar. The links are there in both LinkedIn as well as in TEKsystems.com. I would love to have the audience come in, chime in with questions, and we sharing how to take this entire exciting data journey into a quantifiable and achievable space, for taking the benefits of this generative AI.
Fantastic. Well, I'll work with your team to get links for everything you mentioned there so we can add them to the show notes so people can find you nice and easy and get involved in this conversation too. And we covered so much in a short amount of time, from creating a proper data strategy, creating opportunities for innovation, getting rid of silos, and also discussing generative AI and the important steps that companies just cannot skip when implementing this new technology, and also the good stuff, ROI and business value that these technologies can offer. Pure gold from me, and I think it's your passion for the topic that really brought it to life. So thanks for sharing your story today.
Thanks for the opportunity.
So a huge thank you to today's guest for sharing his wealth of knowledge and insights on data analytics and AI. And I'm sure you agree, his passion for the topic really shined today. And I think that is what brought it all to life. And in our conversation, we touched on some pretty crucial points, from understanding the necessity of a robust data strategy and to the limitations and ethical considerations of AI. And we also learn more about the human element in technology. It's so important and often missed. I'm glad we got a chance to reinforce the idea that while machines can crunch numbers and offer solutions, it's the people who make technology truly impactful. And as we discussed, being methodical about integrating domain experts, IT departments, other stakeholders, and the right set of partners is all imperative for the responsible implementation of AI technologies. Obviously, you've heard from me, you've heard from today's guest. I want to hear from you. Email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilCHughes. I'd love to keep this conversation going. It's something that impacts each and every one of us, and we all need to be a part of that conversation, not just people in the tech department. But that's it for today, so keep those questions, messages coming through. I'll be back again tomorrow with another guest and another topic, but more than anything, just thank you for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.